everybody, welcome to Gaian Gardens. Today I would like to show you how I make use of leftover bits of clay that I had from making a bigger pot. And those bits have been textured, so they already are crackled in texture. And they were just small little pieces. So because they already have slip and sodium silicate on them, I would not be able to reclaim it to make it into another clay, or like squish it back together and make something new. Actually, I don't know how that would work with sodium silicate, but I'm guessing it could affect the texture of clay from what I've noticed with the sodium silicate. That's why the only other option would be to throw them out, and obviously I don't want to throw them out. So we're just going to go in and make a cute little pot, like an accent plant, maybe for a bonsai, that will have some texture on it and interesting design. If you would like to see this process, join me in today. Let's do a little inventory of what we have first. We have a few longer bits, and I start them touching the same color, so slip to slip, clay to clay. This one is longer, and I'm pretty confident I have enough for one small pot, maybe even more than one. I like their textures. I think they are pretty cool. They're mostly vertical breaks. Very nice. I like how that's broken up. I want to utilize it into a nice design. And I have only this bit and this bit left of my red reclaimed clay. So I want to use up everything. I feel like it would be such a nice feeling to use up all my clay and don't have leftovers. As you know from my tour in the studio, I have a lot of dried up leftover clay. So it's actually quite tricky to be able to use up everything. But I want to see if I can do that. Let's start by rolling this clay. I don't need a big roller for this. I can just use my hand roller. This would be a nice shape, and it shrinks. But I feel like if you have a landscape, or like a landscape, I mean forest, or some sort of painting, I guess, having a complementary pot with moss or fern in that would be really cool. So I'm gonna try to do more organic shape, not round or oval, just similar to the bigger pot. And we'll see if we have enough of clay to make a nice accent pot. I mean, to me, it just seems only natural to go for a shape like this because there is so much organic movement happening with the crackle. If we try to confine it into something organized and structured, it just wouldn't fit for me. It just wouldn't visually fit. So I feel like this is better. Well, let's try some of those walls on and see if we have enough. They would have to overlap. But yeah, I think that would be enough. Just roughly measuring. Yeah, it's enough. I think that would be really cool. Well, let's see how we can arrange it best. First, let's do some slip and score. And they're going to go on the outside of that slab. One more thing that I should mention is lift the slab, because I was rolling so to make sure it's not stuck. It's actually pretty good. It's not stuck. Now I'll attach it on a hyperlapse. In the process of attaching it, almost everything is assembled. And I just want to show you how I connect those joints so that they are as little disturbance as possible. So I'm using this wooden tool, which is better than my finger because it doesn't smudge the clay as much. And then I'm gonna make a little bit of a texture where this joint is. And by creating this texture, I am actually embedding the two pieces together by pressing them together and at the same time creating interesting pattern. So it's a win-win situation. And I might go back with the slip and add some slip there. But so far, I really like that. And most reinforcements are going to come from the inside of the pot. So here I'm just pressing gently. And the whole time I am washing my hands. I have a sponge here. I have a sponge handy and I'm washing my hands and then drying them every time I touch the clay. My towel, dry the hands, so that every time I touch it, I don't make prints on this beautiful pattern. So here is how it looks like now. And we're going to reinforce it with the coil inside and around those joints. And we're gonna add a little bit of clay too. So let's hyperlapse that process. When it comes to reinforcing bonsai pots in the middle, I tend to do it on the slant. As you can see, it's slightly curved. There is a reason for this. It's because we don't want the tree's roots to be caught in crevices. And if you think about repotting, perhaps if you're a potter and you don't have bonsai, it's a little difficult to imagine. But when you're repotting the tree, you're actually removing the whole mass, root mass, from the pot. So imagine that the user of your pot will be doing that. They'll be removing the whole mass. And if the shape of the walls is preventative, if there is something that the roots get caught on, if there is a dent, if there's crevices, this process will be very difficult and it can damage the root mass. So the bonsai artists, when they're looking at pots, they will notice those things and they will not want to purchase the pot that has more slanted, like inwards, or even curved walls. I had that problem at the beginning when I was starting to make bonsai pots, and people told me, well, this is not a good idea to do it that way. I like the shape of pot, so I said, whatever, you don't have to buy it. But then later, when I was trying to repot in that pot, that was another story. I totally understood where they were coming from. And then I've decided I don't want for my own pots to have that problem ever again. So yeah, there is a reason for that. Now I know this pot is not, the walls are not even, but that's okay. We're still gonna flip it upside down. I have to flip it because I have to attach the feet and I have to, no, it doesn't want to touch. Oh, it came. I have to smooth out the bottom. So I'm gonna do that right now. As you can see, there is some gaps. So when it's still soft, I can push it in. And I could use my beloved paddle for patting. That always does the best job compressing the clay. So we'll do it like that. Now some gentle patting is done. I can make sure that this is well connected, smooth it out, and clean. So let's get on to that. The clay is still very wet, so that's all I'm gonna do right now. I cut around the edge a little bit, but I don't want to mess up with that too much right now with like smoothing and stuff. We'll leave it for until it dries. And now I'm gonna flip it back so that the bottom can stiffen, because as you can see, it is sagging because it's still too soft. Pretty cool. Just push it down. And now I can just make it back into the shape I wanted. So this wall is slightly higher than this wall. It got pushed down because of gravity when I flipped it upside down, but I actually want them to be more vertical walls. And here's the look. Pretty nice. Here's how it looks like at the end of day one. And I'm gonna leave it until tomorrow. And I just want to show you how many pieces I have left. I only have those 3 small bits left with the crackle, which still has nice texture. Yeah, pretty nice texture. But I don't think I'll do anything else with it. I don't know what else I could do. I mean, could do a little foot like that. But the foot would not be strong enough. So I'll most likely just leave them and put them in the garbage, I mean, unfortunately, even though when I folded it, it's even more crackle happening. Well, let's see. Maybe I'll leave it for now, and I don't think I would have 4 feet, though. I'll have just 3 feet. That's not enough. Unless I cut them in half. Yeah, maybe I'll cut them in half. I actually really love that texture. Look at that. It's very nice. So perhaps what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half and make small legs like that for the pot. If I want to. I don't know what I'm going to feel like doing tomorrow. Maybe I'll feel like making a longer, even foot with just red clay. We'll see. See you tomorrow. How to cut them in half. And I feel like perhaps the best way would be to just use the wire. Maybe I need to put something underneath. Let me put this. This is a little bit too thin. What about this knife? Oh yeah, that's a nice cut. It's a pretty good cut. So I'll cut them today because they're still wet. And then if I want to use them the next day, which actually I realize is probably gonna be in 2 days, then I can use them. There we go. Isn't that cool? It's a very cool texture. It's like, it reminds me of an elephant foot. Well, maybe this pot will have cute feet. And then we have this. Well, let's take this off. Yeah, that made a cool texture too. It's always fun and adventure in Pottery Studio. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I love these. I hope they would turn out and I can somehow use them. They're not even yet. I will have to find a way to make them all the same, but I think I can have 4 ones that are really nice. That would look interesting on that pot. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I had to step away for a few days, and today I'm coming back hoping this is still workable. So let's take a look. I think it's leather hard now. What about the feet? Yeah, they're pretty hard, but I think I can still work with them. So let's see how that's gonna come up. Let's start by making a drainage hole, which is gonna be right in the middle here. And there's gonna be some smaller ones once I have the feet. That's nice and thick bottom here. Now I have it upside down, so I'm gonna figure out the feet and I'm gonna do it on hyperlapse. So here's the look of the finished pot with the feet on now. I guess this would be one front, but I was thinking more this is a front so that that taller wall is in the back. And I put the most attractive foot in here. To me, it's most attractive because of those ridges. I like how it turned out. It's very organic, and those legs look like logs, like literally like wood logs. So that's very cool. There's the look from the top. And some close-ups. Sweet. So this is it. My pot is now finished. As you can see, it's quite nice and small and in really nice size. Oh yeah, that's the front I intended. So I enjoyed this process, and I feel like I want to explore this technique a little bit more with the crackling and different colors of slips. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, let me know if you like it. What are your thoughts? If you have any questions, please, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I'm so curious to see how this looks like with the glaze on. Let's take a look at this. Wow. Martin's art is just amazing. Oh, I like that. I want to see the pots. Ooh, that's so cool. Really cool.